Hey, what's going on? It's Nick from Buffalo Pinball. It's February 2023 and it's time for another game room video. As the last one was 2 years ago and a lot of changes has happened, as you can see. So I'm gonna start off doing a quick walk around. So if you don't want to watch the full video, you can just see what I have very quickly. But if you want to nerd out, I'm gonna actually spend decent time on each game and talk about the history, what are some features I like on the game, why I own the game, etc. Don't mind the little knob from the selfie stick is showing. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so that's gone because it's driving me nuts, and I already did a video with that in there and had to redo this. So, but I wanted you to at least be able to see the entire game room for a quick walk around. So why am I doing this? Well, I remember back in 2010 when I got into pinball. In the fall 2010, I remember somebody doing a game room video, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And maybe one day I'll own my own pinball machine. Well, here we are, 13 years later, and I've amassed a collection since starting in January 2011. And hopefully this inspires you. I know people like these game room tours. And then it's also a nice way for me to catalog my collection. So let's talk about, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. There we go, get rid of that. For better or for worse, it's zoomed in. All right, let's talk about this game. This game is my first arcade game I've ever had. First non-pinball arcade game. It's Big Buck Hunter Reloaded. This game came out in, I believe, in 2020. It is the Reloaded Mini. That's the official title of it. I bought it used in October 2022 from a collector on Pinside. Great guy to deal with. And I absolutely love this. This game is a big hit when people come over. I just hosted League Night last night, and it got a lot of love, a lot of play. I think people were excited to see that. And then why is it called Reloaded and instead of a thing that says Big Buck Hunter? Well, the actual Big Buck Hunter topper won't fit on here because my ceiling sucks. All right, it's too low. And it actually has a huge, awesome topper that says Big Buck Hunter on it, so make no mistake of what the game is. But this is, I gotta make do with this, guys. This is my this is the burden I must carry. Why is it called Reloaded though? It has more than Big Buck Hunter on it. It has Terminator, which you see it represented up there. It's got Duck Dynasty game, and it's got some other kind of Big Buck Hunter adventure games that are not just shooting bucks. It's got sweet LEDs on it. It's got a credit card reader because obviously this is for locations. It's got a QR code scanner. You can also scan your Big Buck Hunter card on that. So I love this. This is a lot of fun. I've always wanted a Big Buck Hunter game, and I finally decided to make it happen. I sold my Walking Dead pinball premium for it. People think I'm crazy, but I certainly don't miss that game. Nothing wrong with that game. I just had it for a long time, and it was time to mix things up. One cool thing about this, and one thing that helped motivate getting it, is there's a closet behind it, so I can't put a pinball machine there because I have to access that closet, but this bad boy is on wheels, so I can easily move it when I need to get in there. Some downside to this is that it has a $40 a month subscription. Now you don't have to pay that, but that subscription unlocks all the Reloaded content, which I don't care about. I never play the Terminator or other games. I only shoot the animals, but you also get to have the online leaderboards. You can do online game modes against friends who also have this unit or strangers. It's got a bow mode, and it has all, I think there's 10 animals. If you take it offline, which you can do, then you just have 5 animals. You don't get the online leaderboards. So it kind of sucks. It's a high price point. I think what I'm going to do is maybe keep it 6 months on during the winter, and then, during the summer when I'm not playing a lot of games, I'll cancel my subscription and come back. So that's how I'm gonna seemingly navigate that. But great game, absolutely love it, totally worth it. Highly recommend it for your game room. Very fun. All right, let's talk about this is the most expensive game in my collection. There's an argument that it is the best game in my collection, and that is Jersey Jack's Pirates of the Caribbean. Came out in fall 2018. I don't think they made a lot of these, and I'll tell you the history behind it, because they started landing in homes in 2018, and by March 2019 they stopped producing it, which is a tragedy. This is a wide-body game. I think this is Jersey Jack's last wide-body game. There's an LCD screen there too. This game is something special. I think when it came out, it was $8,500, and now it goes for over $20,000. Absolutely crazy. But for good reason, because it is, you know, when you talk about some of the best games out there, you'd have to talk about this. Let's talk about some of the toys. I'll go a little through the history of this game. This is a ship. All right, well, it's got a camera in it, by the way. It just saw me walk by, so that's why I talked, which is cool. It's got the ship that actually, during gameplay, moves back and left and right, and the speed actually increases over time, depending on what's going on in the game. You can all see gameplay footage on our channel. I'm not going to show any of that today. This has a feature where you actually load the can in there, so you see that hole. And then you hit the action button and you shoot it out of this thing, and you try to go into a hole in that ship. Awesome thematic use of that. Very cool, very fun, very exciting. That chest, it's to lock balls. It doesn't open and close, although there's a mod for it. That's a Kraken mod that I think Pinball Mod Couple sold that I bought. This is a spinning disc here that during certain points in the game will actually start spinning around. And the game has Invisiglass, which is really good at cutting down reflection, so it should look really good on camera here. This guy will spin around. It's just a very... It's a very loaded game. And the choreography between the video and the lights and the sounds in the game. You got one of the voice actors, Gibbs, from the movie to do call-outs. It incorporates all 5 movies that you have to play through to get to the end of it. Although, well, there is no wizard mode. This is the one downside. So this game's a near masterpiece. Why it's not a masterpiece is they have not, even after, God, 4.5 years, put a wizard mode in it. So hopefully it comes one day. Very quick, here's the story behind this game. Buffalo Pinball, in the fall of 2017, had the honor and distinction of being able to stream the reveal and the release of the game at Pinball Expo. We did that on behalf of Jersey Jack Pinball. You can go and watch that on our channel. I was absolutely in love with this game when I played it and ordered it immediately. I knew I had to have this game. I knew it was something special. The problem is that this game was revealed in the fall of 2017 but didn't start shipping and hitting homes until 2018. So people were tempted to buy other games during that time and rescinded their orders. And also, Jersey Jack announced some changes to the game. Originally in the prototype game, that chest open closed. It doesn't anymore. But the biggest change was that there's this spinning disc here. You used to have 3 different spinning discs. It was really cool. It lit up. It showed kind of the mystery awards you can get. And now it's just kind of this basic one disc. And I think between time and removing features, people got cold feet. They pulled out their orders. Then what happened that people started getting it in the fall 2018. Word got out that the game was amazing, but Jersey Jack, because of the low orders, decided that they're going to move on to their next game rather than continuing production on it. So they moved on to their next game, and they have not produced any since. And nobody knows if Jersey Jack will ever make any more of these games. Nobody knows. Even with the price going to over $20,000 a game, we don't know. We don't know if it's a license issue. We don't know if bill of materials. No idea why they've not made this game again. But it is, it's kind of rare. It's, I would say, the most interesting special game in my collection and one of my favorite games. Okay, let's go over to another amazing game, maybe my favorite game at the moment. Of course, that changes by month and by day sometimes. This is Rush Pinball from Stern. Designer is John Borg. One of my favorite designers. We talk about some mods. This is modded with Pinwoofer. So I've upgraded the speakers and it sounds amazing. I got the complete kit in there. This is the premium model. So the premium model has some things that the Pro doesn't. The premium and LE models are the same. This has, you can see this kind of ramp. It's down now, but it will move up during gameplay in certain moments, so you can shoot it through what's called the time machine back there. Shoot it through that little hole. It's got a magnet. Those dice are a mod that I threw in there. This is a cool toy that's not on the Pro. This is a drum clock. I know it's 2:10 right now while I'm shooting this video because it actually shows the real time when the game is not being played. And then when the game is being played, it starts at 3 o'clock, and every pop-up or hit moves it by like a minute or sometimes more, and you try to get to midnight for a multi-ball. Very cool feature, very cool toy. I love it. The premium LE also has these like up posts that you can see behind the drop targets here, and then we'll lock the ball there, kind of like on Avatar. It's a nice little touch. Just a great game. 16 songs in this game. The band was heavily involved with making it. They did the call-outs for it. It's a lot of call-outs, a lot of love, a lot of intention went into this game. It was produced. Ed Robertson helped produce this game. So Ed is the lead singer from Bare Naked Ladies, big pinball player. I heard he's pretty decent at pinball as well. And he's also a friend of Buffalo Pinball. He's been on our show. You can check those episodes out. But he helped do the produces like the voice lines with the band, and just had a lot of fun. You can tell these are one of these games that it was fun to make. It was fun to make. The band was behind it. Great layout. One of my favorite layouts from John Borg. It's similar to his X-Men, but better. And the rules are phenomenal. The rules are very deep. It's done by Raymond Davidson and Tim Sexton. It's a longer playing game. You know, I've had games last for more than an hour. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, and another mod here. Let's talk about this. This is, I've powder coated this. So this normally would just be black like this game. I powder coated it, got the lollipop rails, that's what they're called on there. I went with this color from Prismatic Powders called Cosmic White. I'm not sure I love the color. It has like these metallic flakes in it. It actually looks good with the lights off. Lights on, it almost looks like it's not I don't know, heavily coated, but it's just kind of the flakes in there doing that. I wanted to try to match it with the cabinet where you can see it's got like the snow theme, and there's some like, you know, darker color snow. So I think it works. I think it works, but if I had to do it again, I might do something a little more glossy. But overall, I'm definitely glad I did powder coat it. The guy who did it for me was local. It was a nightmare working with him. I'll talk about a better option if you guys want to powder coat games, but I like the idea of powder coating premium games. Okay, another music pin right next to it, and also another John Borg game. This is Metallica. Came out, I believe, in 2013. If I'm wrong, please forgive me. I got it in December 2014. It's got an upgrade, a modded color DMD in that. So you can see that's an LCD. They used to do DMD, and there are mods for it so you can colorize it and have it look better. I've had this game for quite some time. It's a Pro Edition. Sparky's a toy. It shakes when he gets electrocuted. You got a snake there that will spit the ball out. You got some inline drops there. Kind of an open playfield, a fan style playfield. Rules by legendary designer Lyman Sheets. May he rest in peace. This game sold very well. This game was popular when it came out, and it still is. I feel like so many people own a Metallica or have owned a Metallica. It's a good game. All right, let's move on to Big Buck Hunter, one of my favorite games of all time. This game is going to be bolted to my basement, and if I sell it, I'll never forgive myself. This game, I recently put a color DMD in there as well. This game, though, is not liked by most people. It's not even a divisive game. This game is like ranked number 280th something on Pinside. People are wrong and they're crazy. I'll talk about that, why I like the game, but just a nice, vibrant game, fun game. You can see these modded UFOs that I purchased for it. I like that mod a lot. Everything else is pretty much stock. I put LEDs in it, put the LED OCD board in it. This Buck is the main toy. He runs along this track on various points where the shotgun shells are. You hit him a bunch of times, you can start a multi-ball, which is cool. The other toy here is this elk. This elk will swing out. He's like on a flipper mechanism. Swing out, hit him, he swings back and forth during that multi-ball. You've got a ram right here that when you hit him, he kind of charges forward and hits the ball back at you. Kind of like, War Machine on Iron Man. This game came out in early 2010, and this was a time when we're like kind of deep into that recession of that period of time. John Borg was the only designer at Stern. Rules by Lyman Sheets and Lonnie Ropp. And they changed their design philosophy at the time. So they kind of scaled back on what they were putting in the game. But fundamentally, the design philosophy was to create games with shorter playing times. Because they had, a couple years before that, they had Spider-Man. The problem was a good player can sit on that game for, half an hour. 45 minutes, an hour, really. So that was a problem, especially if you want to play multiplayer games. It's not good for the operator if somebody can sit there for too long. This game, a good player is going to struggle to sit on there sometimes for more than a couple minutes. There's only one safe shot, which is the ramp. Other shots are coming back at you that you've got to hit. This certainly becomes dangerous when the buck is close to the flippers. You can successfully hit it, it comes right back at you. That's an issue. Now, because this game was made during the recession, I don't think they sold a lot of them because of that. Therefore, not a lot of people had this game in their collection, and therefore they were not able to spend time with it or give it a adequate review. When they have played this game out on location, this game is kind of a maintenance nightmare. So I've had issues with the buck breaking, the kind of wires underneath would come loose. I've had issues with the elk falling off. Hopefully it's bulletproof now thanks to friends who've helped do numerous repairs, but chances are if you played this game, you might have played a broken version of the game. It's also not an easy game. So, if you're beginning player, not a great player, casual player, you might not appreciate that. You might enjoy a game where you can play longer, and then therefore this game's not good. But I absolutely love it. I think this game is totally underrated. There were 4 games around this time period with this design philosophy. There was this, then Iron Man, which I own, and then Avatar, and then Tron. And I owned Tron, and Tron lasted less than a year. Great game. It was too easy for me. I was getting to the end. This is my favorite game of all those 4 games, and I really like this era of Stern and the design philosophies. I probably would own a Avatar, but the rules on that game are such that you can kind of spam one shot and it becomes a one-shot game. So, Big Buck Hunter, highly recommend it. Nobody knows how many of these games exist, but certainly under 1,000. Maybe under 500. I don't know. Rare game. All right, let's look at this quick. So some trophies, self-indulgent. Look at this one here. There we go. This is maybe the best trophy here. One I'm most proud of. This is Pinburg 2014. 3rd place, Division B. I missed the pop-up facility. I missed Pinburg. Thankfully, I took home this sweet piece of hardware from it. I'll always have that memory. And this is when we were Jersey Jack vendor. That's when we did the reveal stream for Pirates. There's a lot of cool things there. Okay, let's talk about a game right now that is incredibly popular. This is Godzilla Premium Edition with powder coated from Pinball Refinery. This is, I believe it's called Loch Ness. I don't know if you can see it well, but this is beautiful. I love this color on this game. I think it works very well. If you're gonna do powder coating, just do Pinball Refinery. Super happy with his work. It's a painless experience. So good. Deserves a lot of credit. I'm gonna take a swig of water. All right, so this game is by Keith Elwin. It's his 4th game. Keith is, maybe the best pinball player. I mean, he's not number 1 in the world right now, but arguably the best pinball player of all time. And he's now vying for maybe best pinball designer of all time. This is a premium edition, so it's got toys on it that the Pro doesn't have. And I'll talk about some mods, because these mods are awesome. Let's just talk about the stock toys first and foremost. So stock toy here, this is a building. This building, you lock the balls up there by shooting through that. The building actually rises and falls and kind of crumbles. Very cool. I think this is the better toy. Actually, I find it more satisfying than the bridge. The bridge will shake when you damage it, and then finally it will shake uncontrollably and then kind of break apart. The ball can even fall off of it. I love that. I love this game encompasses the idea of a quote-unquote world under glass. The other feature not on the Pro is this. This is a Mechagodzilla. This actually rotates this thing that spins around. So there's stand-up targets on this side. It'll rotate. You got to hit those. It's a longer playing game, medium to long playing game. Really good rules. Shots feel great. This game is selling very well. I feel like everybody owns a Godzilla or wants a Godzilla or likes Godzilla. It's rare to find somebody that doesn't like this game. Another mod I missed out on was the art blades there. I just put them on recently. Those are the official art blades from Stern. I think it looks good. Completes the look. This game, I wanted to go crazy on. And then I put in some mods. I changed the speakers out. These are the kickers. And that's a easy mod for me to recommend. It makes a big difference. The stock speakers in Stern games are complete garbage. Complete garbage. $5 garbage. You actually are missing out on certain sounds in the game because they cannot reproduce those sounds. That's how garbage they are. So, highly recommend that. And I also added a subwoofer. Okay, let's talk about the other mods in the game. Let's start off with Chrome Candy mods from Ben Crane. He gave these complimentary to me because he's awesome. So you can see this bridge. The stock is plastic back there. I didn't change the back because it's harder to access, but I don't think I need to because prominently you see the front, although I could if I wanted to. You've got this a chromed out bridge. It looks really good. The roof, I put that on top, that chrome, kind of those box X's or whatever you want to call it. That's Chrome Candy. I think it enhances the look. On this spinning thing, the rotating little Mechagodzilla disc, instead of plastic, chrome. And what I like about Chrome Candy mods and what Ben does is they don't look like an obvious mod. It looks like it should have been there from the factory. It blends in very well. I think that's a good move. This mod right here, this UFO, was just a plastic pop bumper, flat plastic pop bumper. That's begging to be modded. That's from Lior. You can look up Lior, L-I-O-R, Art of Pinball. And that, that has an LED, so it will change color. Easy to put on. Looks so much better. And then, right here, this is probably the mod of the year. This is by Stumblor, S-T-U-M-B-L-O-R, Pinball. Look at that. That replaces the plastic sign. It lights up different colors. I haven't even tried this yet. You can actually control it with an app, so you can change the colors if you want. Unbelievable. Maybe one of the best pinball mods of all time. So that is Godzilla. By the way, these games, the modern Stern games have a QR code reader so you can log in on it, keep your score. Stern does monthly contests on it for fun. Love that feature. Connect to the internet. Here we go. Here is Black Knight. I got this in, I think it was spring of 2021. This is a game my business had on route. I was babysitting it for a while during the pandemic, fell in love with it, and me and Martha bought the game. This is made by Steve Ritchie. I believe it came out in 2019. It's the Pro Edition. This game is pretty barren. It does not have a lot on it. It's lacking the upper playfield that the Premium and LE have. But it does have this cool toy. He'll spin his little mace around, he'll raise and lower his shield, and he'll taunt the hell out of you, and he lights up. One of the coolest toys in pinball, no doubt. Talks a lot of shit. Other than that, it's a fan style layout. Pretty basic, but brutal and fun. I gotta replace that light. Look at that light's dark in that coin eject. I don't know why that is. Steve Ritchie game. I prefer the Pro over the Premium and LE. Usually a lot of players who tend to be good players will prefer the Pro. The Premium LE doesn't really... It physically adds a lot, but I don't think it makes the game better. And it makes the game a lot longer, not maybe a good way. And I recently added these official art blades because I wanted to add some things into the game because it was just kind of, it was missing a lot. It was missing a lot. And there should be a booty rate. Those are what those plastic things that Stern puts in the game. There's one right there. Actually, the other one broke off, so this game is even more barren if that's possible. That's Black Knight. Love it. Get a subwoofer for that game. You won't regret it. Okay, Led Zeppelin, one contender for one of my favorite games of all time. This game is a divisive game. I got this almost 2 years ago, and it might be the game in my collection that I've put the most hours into, even though I've only had it for less than 2 years. I love this game. I love the rules on it with the multipliers. You see the songs on it back there. Obviously, it plays Led Zeppelin. This is a Steve Ritchie game. This game also has rules by Raymond Davidson and Tim Sexton, who are now my favorite rule designers. They're crushing these music pin games. I can't wait for their next game. I think I'm going to just buy it if I hear that they're working on it. This game has... everything's pretty much stock on this game. Let's see what I changed. I changed, obviously, I put Titan silicone rings. Always put Titan on there. Sponsor Buffalo Pinball. I changed the pop bumper caps. I like those better than the stock ones. Stock ones are just kind of ugly. These are called, I believe, certain calls it expression lighting. It changes, you know, with the song. It's choreographed to the songs. It just adds a nice touch, light show to the game. You know, rock concert experience. Cool toy here is the Electric Magic. This kind of rises and lowers during gameplay. Has a magnet that will, well, it's got a spinner first of all, which is cool and fun to rip. It's got a magnet that can hold the ball and take it underneath. That is the main feature. There's not a lot of toys on this game, and for people who just look at a game and want toys, they're like, oh, this game's barren, it's empty. But I don't need a lot of toys in my life. I need one good toy maybe, but I need a good layout and good rules. And I'll tell you, Steve Ritchie delivered. This shot right here to this quick turnaround ramp is satisfying as all hell. It's hard to hit, super satisfying when you do. It's Led Zeppelin Pinball by Stern. One of my favorite games of all time. One of my favorite games of all time. All right, Mandalorian Pinball. This is the other game that I got in 2022. I went nuts. It went nuts. It had to change the collection. That has kickers in them as well. That's what I will be doing to all games, either kickers or pinwolfers. Pinwolfers are more expensive, so not every game gets that treatment. Got some art blades I threw in there. This is the premium edition. Baby Yoda does nothing, by the way, so just for the record. I think this is a super cool toy. This thing tilts up and down and can't see my hand. It goes flat, goes really vertical. It's got two flippers. The Pro does not have that. Pro just is flat, one flipper. It's cool and all, but that's way better. Baby Yoda has a magnet. He throws it around on the premium. Another feature on the premium is this turnaround shot. So you can see this wire form, right, that's coming back to this left flipper. So during times in the game when that's flashing, a ramp will kind of pop down underneath that, and you can kind of keep on, it can kind of just kind of turn around, kind of go back and forth a lot. The Pro doesn't have that. And that's really fun, especially at certain moments in the game. During the Spider multi-ball, that will be lit for something like 20 seconds, and you can keep on making it over and over again. Incredibly satisfying. This game is a Brian Eddy game. Brian Eddy's done games like The Shadow, Stranger Things. I'm not a huge Star Wars nerd. Actually, I don't even like Star Wars. Let me just take that Band-Aid off and say that. But I do love the Mandalorian series. And I do really love this game. Rules by Dwight Sullivan. It's got some bugs in it, which is unfortunate. This is a stop and go game. This is a control game. If you play this game and you try to hit the ball on the fly, you will be very punished. Stop and go. A lot of modes to it here. These are all mini wizard modes. All three, and then finally this is the way. I've not gotten to the end of the game. Which I'm glad, because when I get to the end of the game, then the game tends to get sold. So, you know, beating a game is not all it's cracked up to be. Let me tell you right now, if you're a collector, it's not bad to have a hard game. It will make you better, and you'll get more mileage out of it. If you get a game that you beat, then you're like, maybe I'm gonna sell the game. So, all right, now we're getting to some classics here. This is Fireball 2. This game is kind of restored. I think I got this in 2016. It's a clear-coated, I think, original playfield. It has some imperfections in the clear coat, but hell, I mean, this game is nicer than probably 98% of the Fireball 2 is out there. What year is it? 1981 it came out. I like having some classics, but when I want a new game, the classics always are the ones to go. Okay? And you'll notice some games are missing, like Jungle Lord and 8-Ball Champ and Harlem. I've got a friend babysitting those games, so I haven't sold them. I just don't have room for them in my collection. This game has multi-ball, although the multi-ball does kind of nothing in the game. Just puts 3 more balls. There's not like a jackpot or increased scoring. Start it by hitting those targets. Then it will light one of the scoops or holes. Put it in there, do that again, it will release them, etc. It's got this little demon thing. You see this like post there? So not only can it hit the post, but there's a button on the side of the game, an additional button. You hit that, and the post will kind of fling up, so it'll fling the ball away. It's a cool thing. These slingshots are really big. A lot of room there. There's this post here, so you can try to save it. It's unique enough. It's unique enough. Good number of different bonuses on there. There's this kind of like weird feature where the ball kind of jerks back and forth for the fireball bonus. I don't know. It's very gimmicky. Doesn't add much to the game. This game has a lot of LEDs in it. I don't really like them. I might, when I'm motivated to change them. They're a little too bright for this. LEDs don't work great in, I think, classic games, but that's Fireball 2. All right. Countdown. Countdown is a game that you've seen in other videos. I got this game in November 2012. This game was originally, my understanding of this game is originally supposed to be I Dream of Jeannie. And you can kind of see how it was going to be I Dream of Jeannie. I don't know what he's doing with his hand, but whatever. It's got an upgraded board in there. That's why you see high scores. That's not standard. The upgraded board, I needed to replace the boards in the game. I forget what the board's called. So maybe a Pascal board. It adds kind of like a light show. It adds a skill shot to the game, but really just a lot of stability, right? These boards are old. This game came out in 1979. Very simple game, but there's beauty in the simplicity. Great art. These slingshots are actually just slings, believe it or not. They don't have anything that kicks the ball. I recently replaced the flipper rubber with silicone from Titan Pinball. Look, if you've got a pinball machine and you've not replaced the rubber in it for a number of years, you'll want to do that. It'll make the action on the game much better. It'll be more fun. What you want to do in this game is you hit the target banks down. That will, you drop down you start with the green. That will 2x the game. That's 3x, 4x, then you get 5x, and then you try to get it in the scoop up here, and that will count down your bonus. So once you get to 20,000 in bonus built up, that will light. You get in the scoop, and whatever you have your bonus multiplier at, it will count down. There's been a chime unit added to this game that wasn't standard. And that's Countdown. Just a fun, simple game. That game I got for $500 in 2012. Maybe $550 if we were being exact. But you can notice some flaking in the back glass. This happens because the incandescent lights will heat that up over time. This game is over 40 years old, so it's going to happen. I probably could get it restored, but it's part of the charm right now. Okay, let us move over to Bad Girls. Everybody's favorite game, Bad Girls. Played this in League last night and everybody was excited to play Bad Girls. Look at that back glass. How classy is that? Gottlieb, rather than, hiring an artist, they're just like, we're just going to get some hookers and go down to the local bar and snap a picture of them. I don't know if these ladies are hookers, but, I'd put money on it. So, all right. Not only is it a ridiculous kind of back glass, ridiculous theme, it's actually a really fun game, really good game. The playfield is a reverse kind of image of a popular game called 8-Ball Deluxe. 8-Ball Deluxe came out in the early 80s. This is from 1988, I believe. But it has more kind of like modern rules associated with it. So it's got a multi-ball, which 8-Ball Deluxe didn't have that. Rules are very good. It's got 2 spinners that light up for spins. You can rip it. You got a lock shot there, the 8-ball. Goal is to try and knock all the balls down, hit the 8-ball. Then it becomes like a hurry up here that you can build up the value. This is your bonus multiplier. This is called a vary target because it gets pushed back based on the force of the shot rather than just kind of like touching it. It's a great game. And oh, it's gonna drive me nuts. Is that light out back there? Good. This is the kind of stuff that keeps me up at night. Maybe. That's Bad Girls. Great music. By the way, they ripped off a song from Michael Jackson's Bad album. I forget what the song's called. The song's not bad, but they definitely ripped it off. That's in the game. That's Bad Girls. Okay. Iron Man, the OG pinball game. The first pinball game I ever purchased. Iron Man. Got that in January 2011. That was my adventure in this crazy hobby. I think this game still looks great. Taking great care of it. People love Iron Man. When Iron Man came out, people complained about it. They didn't like the game. It was too kind of basic. It was stripped down compared to Spider-Man. And yet, at the end of the day, it's fun. It's fun. And people realize it's fun. And it's a game I've seen a lot of collections. They've reran this game numerous times because of demand for it. This is an OG version. There is a I forget what they call it, like a vault edition. This is the original. It's not the vault edition. Added LEDs, of course, because originally it was incandescent in this edition. I don't have the light up thing in the monger like his chest lights up in the newer editions. I added a color DMD to it. Just a great game. There's some chipping back there under Whiplash. They fixed that in later runs to help prevent that problem. Won't spend too much time on Iron Man. Everybody knows this game. Very simple, very straightforward, very fun. It's another John Borg game. John Borg, it's a recurring theme of him. Rules by Lyman Sheets and Lonnie Ropp. Music by David Thiel, too. David Thiel is my favorite pinball music composer. Did the music on Pirates, which I didn't talk about, but that's amazing. All right, and last but not least is Sopranos. Last but not least for pinball, Sopranos. So there's a dot matrix. So that's the original dot matrix, not a color DMD. You know, Stern was, dot matrix came out in the early 90s. I think T2 might have been one of the first games, or Gilligan's Island. Winners Do Drugs. And then Stern continued doing that into the early 2010s. This game is a loaded game. It's got a lot going on. So those strippers, they rotate around during certain moments of play, which is cool. You've got that Stugatz, the boat, where you load it up for multi-ball. This safe, you hit it a number of times and the safe actually breaks apart. And you put the ball back there, which is cool. This fish talks, his mouth moves. Like I said, loaded. There's a lot of things in this game. There's a stand-up target, guarding the boat. This is a game that it's a fan layout. It could be a longer playing game. Came out in 2005, so the rules are, rules have come a long way since 2005. And to me, the rules are they're not terrible, but they're not interesting to me. And as a someone who's been playing pinball for more than 10 years and playing competitively, this game is too easy for me. So my girlfriend owns it; she loves it. But I've definitely enjoyed it throughout my pinball quote unquote career. I think this is a good game for a beginning or novice player or intermediate player. I think it's a good game to get better on, because I think you can eventually get to the end of it and you can chart your progress. So that's Sopranos. All right, last thing in the game room to talk about. This is what's known as an iiArcade. It's spelled iiArcade. One word. I got this a few months ago because I looked at it. I'm going to back up here. I'm going to zoom out for a second. Let's see. Or not. There you go. See, look, I had that space. I had like a little bit of space that I was not utilizing. And then we can't have that. We can't have that. So I was like, well, what can I put there that's more fun than a TV tray for drinks, and I went with this. And if you watch our channel, I did a YouTube video on the one I bought. I bought like one of the original cabinets in December or November. I liked it so much I upgraded to the gold cabinet. This game actually had some damage out of the box to it, which I'm upset about. I tried to fill it in with a paint pen, but you can see where it's chipped there down to the wood. Yeah. So I'm fighting with the company now because they're giving me a hard time about replacing it. So I can recommend this with caveats. I think their customer service is absolutely terrible. Hopefully they change my mind about that. But I like this a lot. It's a great kind of UI that it has. It's not the most pretty thing, but it has everything from like, Saturn's a modern retro game, to like obscure games like Ninja Baseball Batman. You buy each game individually. They're all licensed, which I like about that. Download it from an app on your phone. Goes on there. It's 2 players, right? I've modified the speakers. It's sound by JBL. Sounds really good. The quality is, other than the issues I have with customer service, the quality when it comes and it doesn't fall apart is really good. I mean, it's a stable thing. They use quality parts compared to 1-ups. 1-ups are complete junk. All right, the quality is much better than a 1-up. You can play hundreds of games on there. And what's the other? There's another thing. Arcade Ultimate Legends. This is better quality materials than what they use. So I'm happy with it. It fills the space. You can actually play these games online with friends. I played with Jeff Worth. He bought my old one, so we've played some games online. And they keep on releasing games like almost every week. So like I said, I'm pro iiArcade, minus the issues with their customer service, and we'll see what happens there. So, anyways, thanks for watching this video. It's always fun making it and seeing where the collection will evolve. My goal in the next 10 years is to have a bigger game room and maybe move to a bigger house, because I want to keep on expanding my collection. And also, the worst thing about pinball is the stairs. So until next time, thanks for watching.